And today I'm going to be presenting a watercolor sketching demo by Irish urban sketcher Sebastian Thommen. If you're new to Studio 56, you should know that in addition to hosting these free interviews and demos with artists, we also produce online workshops for artists, and we organize vacation workshops for artists in gorgeous locations all around the world. We have tickets still available for 2024 in some of these locations. We have one ticket left in Edinburgh in July with Koshikuna, in Brittany in September with Hazel Sohn. It will be in the French Alps in September with Renata Lahal. In Paris in September, we'll be there with Stephanie Bauer. In Malta in November with Alex Hilkertz. And we just today launched a Costa del Sol workshop in February 2025 with Koshikuna. If you need more information about that, I hope that you'll go to our website, www.studio56boutique.com. And now to tell you a little bit about Sebastian. Sebastian Thommen has been painting in watercolor since his early teens. In recent years, he took up painting professionally, and in 2024, he was awarded the Silver Award and Artist Choice Award in the Artists in the Open International Plein Air Festival in Wexford. And so now let's bring Sebastian into the call.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Sebastian. So glad that you're here. So excited to show your beautiful demo to people. Can you tell everyone what they're going to be seeing today?
Well, we are painting a lovely scene in Provence in France, and I'll be reconstructing the scene a little bit from the photograph and moving the building around and the hills around just so that it makes for a nicer painting. Okay, so we can do that. We can take artistic license and do that. There's going to be a little bit of an edit right at the end where the hairdryer is blowing, so we cut out the hairdryer bit. So you'll see it go straight to the detail.
Yeah, perfect. And so I can see that I have a question here from Penny. And Penny, I'm going to answer you after we get started on the demo. All right, so let's get going on our demo. I hope everybody will stick around to the end because we have a very special announcement.
Okay, guys, so here we have my reference image here on the left, and I've done a quick value study just to tweak the composition around more than anything. So as you can see here, I've moved the building slightly more to the left, and these hills in the background, they're going to be slightly lighter in value, and these trees in the middle ground are going to be darker value, and that's going to help push everything back and give the impression that there's more depth in the photo. Okay. One other tweak I made is I've put these lines all going towards our point of focus, and I'm going to put in a little figure here. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So here's everything done in a bigger piece of paper. This is about 911 by 15 inch. And I'm going to start splashing paint around. It's time to have some fun. So I'm going to use a relatively big mop brush, and I'm going to put in the sky first. And while that's still wet, I'm going to put in this background, but I'm going to have it a nice soft edge. Okay, so I'll be painting wet into wet. I'm going to use a little bit of cobalt blue here for the sky. This is Daniel Smith cobalt blue. I've been experimenting with different paints recently and different brands, and I'm just back from China, where the company that invited me over there was Rockwell Paints. They're quite good as well, but I've been using these Daniel Smith paints for so long now. I'm familiar with them, so I'm going to keep using them for a while. Okay, so let's put in the sky. Nice watery mixture here, almost tea-like consistency. Slide that over like that. You see this bead? We want to keep that nice and wet. If there's no bead there, then that means that our wash isn't quite wet enough. Okay, so now I'm going to clear my brush entirely so it's just damp. And I'm going to slide that bead all the way across like so. There's a hair there, but I'm just going to ignore it. You know, some people try and scratch them away, and I know I was doing it for many years, and you end up destroying the painting with all of these scratch marks. So it's all part of the process of the painting. You know, it's the same with pencil lines. I don't mind seeing the odd pencil line either. You know, it shows that the painting was organically made by pencil and brush, not AI. Okay, so I'm using a little bit of yellow ochre here. Again, it's a nice watery mixture, and that's going to create a warmth in the horizon. And we like that warmth. Okay, I'm going to move all the way down. The only whites of the page that I am going to leave will be parts of this building here. Okay, but it's pretty much going to be yellow ochre. This region in Provence is quite near where yellow ochre is made, which is kind of cool. And red ochre, I think. Okay. Now remember, now this is all the first wash. I can paint over this. And I am going to leave a little bit of white around here just to show that the sun is really hitting that building. And that's really going to pop as our point of focus. Okay. Now, while this is still wet, I'm going to put in the background. So those hills, they're not going to be as dark. I want them lighter in contrast. We're not painting the exact photo. It's a lovely photo, but we're going to make it better as a painting. More compositionally pleasing. Okay, so what color have we got? We've got a little bit of ultramarine. I'm going to use a bit of cobalt turquoise. A little bit of yellow. I'm going to have to hydrate my palette here because it's getting a little bit dry in my studio. So with a little bit of spray, activate all that paint. I don't want this too wet when I put in my distant hills, so I'm going to let it dry a little bit more. It's all about timing with watercolor. So I'll just make sure I have my consistency and color pigment as close as I can get to those hills in the background without being so dark. A little bit of alizarin crimson. Okay. A little bit of burnt sienna. Okay, I'm going to use the side of my brush, keep it nice and loose. Oh, lovely. We don't want a perfect line. Go over these trees here. There's going to be some more trees around the building, so I'm not too pushed about them. That's lovely. See the way it's bleeding nicely, creating a nice soft edge. I'm going to add a little bit of neutral tint to my mix, just to add a little bit of volume to those trees. This will all lighten up as well, remember that. Okay. That's good. Now I'm going to start working on the foreground. A little bit of green field going along here. I still have my bead, which is good. There's a lot of bead there, so I can soak it up with my mop brush. I'll have more control over the middle ground if it's not so wet. And my big mop brushes are great for soaking up the bead. Okay, let's get a little bit of, this is lemon yellow, and a little bit of cobalt. Right, might even get some dry brush going on here. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, I love it. The joy of watercolor. You just don't get that with every medium. Only watercolor. Okay, now we're going to warm up a little bit here. So I'm going to add a little bit of cobalt turquoise to my mix. That's right. Now, I can wetten this up a little bit more. Maybe darken it up a little bit more so we're getting closer to the foreground. If it's warmer, it'll help push everything back. There we go. Okay, now that'll lighten nicely as well. Some of these trees here could do with a little bit of volume, although I probably will go over them again with a darker value. And also there's going to be shadows going in here as well. Now I can start getting creative with the foreground. Get a smaller brush. And start dropping in a few little drops. I can protect the background. Create a little bit of definition on that big shape there. Okay. Let's give it a little bit of a spray. Like so. It's looking good. Let me spray some of the trees here. Okay. Lovely. Now I'm going to let that dry. I might even get the hairdryer to it. Okay, so it's all nice and dry. I am going to start working on the left and bring myself all the way to the right. I'm going to save my darkest dark around here, so this tree on the left side of the building will be quite dark. And I'm going to bear in mind as well that the sun is coming this way, which is going to cast lovely shadows going across. Okay, so I'm going to mix a little bit of my lemon yellow and cobalt blue. And I'm going to paint loosely. I don't even have trees properly drawn in. Make sure that my mixture is all mixed and there's no blobs of paint stuck on my brush. Just going to stab in the tree like so that we have nice unusual edges. Drop in some of that mixture, let it all blend in itself. Okay. Slightly darker at the bottom. A little bit of burnt sienna and ultramarine to get some of those branches in and tree trunks. I want to keep that kind of connected earthed tree by putting a shadow going across. This is all going to help bring us to the point of focus, which is around here. Then this tree is a little bit darker, so I'm going to add ultramarine and a little bit of neutral tint. connect it all, keep it all one shape if I can. And a little bit of slightly warmer shadow now. A little bit too much water in my mixture, so I'm going to take out a little bit of that. You know what, I'm going to take it out with a damp brush as opposed to a piece of tissue. That's it. Just soak it all up. And the same for this shadow. Now I can connect it. Okay, now we're coming to the side of the building. So it's all in shadow. Not the rooftops, just the walls. We want to vary the hue of that shadow, making it cooler and warmer as it moves along. And there's some reflections of some trees here as well. A little bit of little bit of foliage going on behind, just to help emphasize the roof. Like so. There's a nice blended shadow here to show the cylindrical shape. So I'm going to soften this edge with a damp brush. Like so. Okay, now we're coming up to the top steeple. Now how's this one going to work? Well, there's a shadow coming down here, and that helps emphasize the cone-shaped rooftop. This is a Chinese brush that I picked up a few weeks ago in China. They're very cheap, but I also realized that very similar brushes are being sold very cheaply in my local art store. So you don't need to go all the way to China to get these brushes. I like to swap brushes as I'm working. Now, this guy's coming down here. Let's add a little bit more blue to the shadow. Just here. Drop it in there just to brighten up that shadow a little bit. A little pop of color. And this is all in shadow as well. As is this. Okay. Now let's keep working our way across here. A little bit of shadow being cast down here as well. There's a few trees there. Let's put them in with a little bit of lemon yellow and cobalt. Oh, that's very watery. There's another little tree here. Balance it out a bit. Now let's bring this wall over. Okay, we're getting there. Let's define some of that steeple with a bit of warm shadow. Okay. Okay. Starting to take form now. I'm going to keep working my way across. Might even give it a little bit of a spray, just to get some texture in those trees. Okay. Now we're working our way across here. Let's go for a little bit of coolness in our shadow. Now I've sprayed the page a little bit just to get some irregular edges. There's a bit of tree there. Okay. All of this facade is in shadow as well, minus a few little columns that are being highlighted by the sun. Now we're reaching another tree here. Let's get a little bit of lemon yellow, stab in that tree. Drop in some warmer pigment. Let it drip down. Get a little bit of burnt sienna, ultramarine for our trunk and our shadow. A lot of pigment build up here, so I'm going to soak that up a bit. Okay, we're getting there. Give this tree a little bit of a spray. Maybe some sun is beaming through the branches. Nice. Okay. Now we're going to keep on working. Working across. This is all in shadow. Up here. Drop in a little bit of texture here. Warm it up a little bit here. Okay. I'm keeping an eye on my reference composition study here. And so these trees are going to be darker value compared to these hills in the background. So I'm going to keep that in mind. Soften some of these edges here. A little bit of shadow on this chimney. Okay. This seems a little bit too dark here. So I'm going to get my damp brush, take in some of this pigment. I want this to be the main focal point, so I'm going to soften some of these edges here. Okay, now we can start putting in our tree. I like this blending, so I'm not going to disturb it too much. It's just to give the impression that there's some trees there. Like so. And of course, there's some branches as well. And some shadows as well. Okay, we're getting there. I'm going to put in some dry brush stroke a little bit just to define these crop rows that are pointing more in the direction of our point of focus here. Give our trees a bit of a spray. Okay. So I'm going to use my little mop brush here and create a nice dry mixture. I can test it out on my practice page here. Something like that, but not too much. I do like these effects from all the splashing around. And then there's some definition here to break up that shape a bit. Okay. I put in some light shining through these trees. Okay. Now, I want to put a figure in here, and some windows. And then we're pretty much done. Just need to darken up this area. So our figure, I'm going to use a bit of neutral tint. What's he doing? Maybe he's working in the field. Where's his head going to be? His head's going to be slightly around here. Where do I want him? Around here? Right next to that shadow, so that it's almost pointing down in his direction. Okay. Maybe he's got some lavender jeans on. Some blue jeans. Okay. And we need to ground him. A bit of shadow. Okay, so I just put in a little bit of red here, just as if that figure has got a red t-shirt on, and that'll help draw the eye to the area a little bit more because it's complementing the lavender blue jeans or pants that our character has here that's working in the field. Other than that, that's pretty much it. Thank you.
So fast. I was trying to hold the screen on the end screen, but it wouldn't do it. So anyway, I just thought it would be nice to let people see it for a little bit longer. Wow, that was so fast. Did you speed it up, Sebastian?
I didn't. I drew it out first, obviously, but it's amazing what you can do in just over half an hour.
That was amazing. It's like, I don't know, you did such a great job and it was so fast.
Well, the hair drying bits were, cut out, so they would have been a minute or 2 minutes,
Yeah, a
but
couple of minutes, yeah.
still
Yeah.
pretty fast. You get that with watercolor, you don't get that with the other mediums. So
No. And a couple of things that I want to comment on is the sunbeams. Smearing, with your Kleenex across to lift some paint out and just have like a smear of sunbeams. That was amazing. That was beautiful.
yeah, you have to make sure your tissue is really clean. Because I've done it once or twice and I've put in these horrible lines in the sky and I thought, no. So you just make sure your tissue is nice and clean and remember where the sun is coming from.
Yeah.
And give it a swipe and then give it a swipe from underneath and up as well. And then it's like the rays are shining through the trees.
It
Get
was
that atmosphere.
beautiful. Really, I learned something. That was really cool. I like that. I saw in the comments, somebody else mentioned that they sometimes do, they do that.
Yes. Yes.
So it's not secret information, but it's
It's
kind of new to
not.
me.
Yeah, it's something that's been around for a while, but it's all these little tips and tricks really help.
I think you have to think about it. You have to
Yeah.
be there in the moment and thinking about it. And, if you're focusing on other things, then, you don't remember. So that was, as that person mentioned, that was a really good reminder. So if anybody has any questions, you want to type them in the Q&A box, we can answer some now. Sebastian was working very hard all throughout the whole demo, answering questions, typing the answers. Angeline says, beautiful, just love it, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Dan says, indeed, and the red also helps with the rule of thirds you used in the composition. Great piece, Sebastian, thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I see one from Peter there. Any explanation on why the water splashes in the foreground and with it not mixed with the color? Well, when the water droplets land on the page, they push the color out, tiny little droplets, and they create those lovely little textures.
Yeah, and by doing that, it seemed it was like a photo that's out of focus in the immediate foreground. You got
Exactly.
a very soft foreground.
Yeah, less distracting, and it's the same with the background. You want your harder edges near the point of focus if you can, and a few on the right to balance it out, but mainly on the point of focus.
Yeah. So lots of people saying thank you. Pecky says, would love to know what's your default supplies and setup when you paint in your studio, I guess compared to plein air. Okay,
so I have the same brushes. I have them all rolled up in a little brush or a little cloth, and I bring them wherever I go, studio or plein air. And so I have my various sizes of mops and riggers and a few flat brushes. And then I have my paper, which is at the moment Baoyong or Arche, and I have a little pad, and they're my main. Sometimes I use a little bit of gouache to put in some highlights on shoulders of people or a little bit on a post, but I try not to use it if I can get away without using it.
Yeah. And Effie is saying, how long have you been painting in a serious way? And do you think that the best suggestion is painting outside to improve faster?
Yes, so I've been painting seriously for the past 5 years, where I've made it my daily objective to paint. And painting plein air increases your learning curve so much because you are seeing so much. If you look at a photo, you're like, those trees in this photo, they're not that dark. In the background, they're not that dark. That's the lens making them dark. So you start to see colors and shadows, and also you get to have a sense of being in the moment, painting outside. So you're creating memories. You know, when you look at a sketch pad, and you look at your pictures, they're all flooding back memories as you go through the pages. You don't get that with photos. You know, oh, I took that picture really quickly there. But you have all of these memories because you're standing in the same spot for half an hour or longer.
Mhm.
So plein air
Yeah.
painting rocks.
Yeah, well, and also the camera doesn't pick up the details, so you might be really enjoying a certain detail. And you know, you've got your reference photo and you're like, you know, trying to see what is that? But if you're there in person, you can walk right up to it and see the thing and figure out
Exactly.
how it should be painted. I don't like personally painting any shapes that I don't know what it is.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Where you're like painting, like, I don't know what that is. Okay, well, I'll just paint this blob here. I don't really like that.
I know, I know. It makes sense. Being outside in nature, getting that oxygen, or if, you know, sitting in the car if it's raining, whatever. It
Yeah.
all helps.
Well, it's good for your mental health. Go
It is.
outside. That's
It
why
is.
we always sent our kids outside to play. It's good
Yes,
for
we have to
you.
send ourselves out to play, and grab
Yeah,
us by the collar and throw ourselves out the door.
out the door. Go on,
Yeah.
go build a fort and paint a painting. So let's see if there's other questions here. Haiti wants to know what kind of and number brushes do you use?
So every brand has different numbers. So I don't really go by number. I just go by feel. So if you have a very large mop for doing the bigger ones, I think my Neef one is it's probably 12, and then I have an 8 and maybe a 6. And it's you know, around the same for a Skoda, just to get a big one, a medium, and a small one, and you'll be fine. And then you have your little riggers, okay?
Yeah, a Skoda
Um,
is not so easy to get in North America, I think.
isn't it? Yes, yeah, I suppose it's European. Maybe Neef might be easier. They're Australian, yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I'm not sure. I
Mm.
I had to buy my Skoda brushes in Switzerland,
Okay,
and
okay.
they were not cheap.
They
I
aren't
told one
cheap.
of my children
Yeah,
change
yeah.
brushes. Yeah. Okay, so Carla wants to know, how did you get the stipples and dots in the foreground?
That was the spray bottle. And so if you have, I have two spray bottles. I have my hairdresser spray bottle that I've just recently purchased, and it's great for a nice fine mist that creates nice fine droplets. And then you've got, you can, if you press it really slowly, you get bigger droplets, and that creates those effects in the foreground.
Yeah, yeah. And somebody is asking about if you could recommend an easel for plein air painting. And by the way, what is your, please tell everyone your Instagram name, because I think people should go there. There's a lot of videos there showing him using his easel and painting plein air.
Yeah, so my Instagram is Sebastian underscore Thommen. And but you'll type in Sebastian and underscore, and it should come up THO, and then it'll hopefully pop up. I see someone's asking if I use Chinese white. I don't use Chinese white. I have it, but I don't really use it. But I use it very seldomly for smoke.
Right,
Um,
right,
and
yeah.
my tripod then is a Plein Air Pro. They're an American company, and those tripods they're, sorry, not the tripod. They send the tripod with the palette and the shelf, and you put the palette and the shelf on the tripod, so you can use any tripod. And it's the one they send is quite lightweight as well.
And what's the brand?
Plein Air Pro.
Plein Air Pro.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Becky says she's trying to loosen up her paintings, so this is very helpful. I'm also just beginning to paint
Mhm.
plein air. Go
Yep.
Becky, go Becky.
Yep. Fair play.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done.
Yeah,
You'll shoot up, you know, because you're against the elements as well. Either it's raining or it's extremely hot. So you have to work quick, and that's going to loosen you up. Because you'll
yeah.
have to be quick. You won't have time to put in those little details that are very distracting.
Mhm. And anonymous attendee wants to know which colors you use for the background on the left side.
Which color is used for the background on the left side? From what I can remember, it was cobalt turquoise, and I used a bit of burnt sienna, and I think I used a little bit of blue. I'm not sure whether it was ultramarine or cobalt.
Okay.
And then I dropped it in while it was wet.
Divyani says, I attempted to paint quickly with you and seems like all colors kind of smashed together, especially the trees. Any tips?
Well, it's always a challenge when you're painting with an artist. Sometimes it's good if you can watch the video back and pause it,
Yeah.
and then you can take your time with it and not feel as rushed, because it is very difficult. It can be fun to do, but it's like driving a Formula One car, and so you're not gonna have as much control. So try again, watch the recording back if you can, and go, or else just try and remember, whichever, and
Yeah.
go from there.
Yeah, well, so everyone should know this recording will be made available on the Studio 56 for Creatives YouTube channel. And you should go there and subscribe. And if you do, you will be alerted. You'll get a little alert. Oh, Sebastian's demo is now available. So it'll alert you when it's available. So if there's no more questions, just some information, and we have our big announcement. But to let you know, we'll be offering more free interviews and demos coming up in 2024. The next one is with Alex Hilkerts. And we love Alex, don't we, Sebastian? He's wonderful.
Awesome artist. Awesome artist. Wow, look at those fireworks.
How did it do that?
Oh, I don't know.
Awesome artist. Well, how come it didn't work for me? How come that worked for you?
I don't know.
Wow.
I wasn't expecting it.
Awesome
That's
artist.
never happened before. Try again.
Awesome artist. Awesome artist. I think it's the words. I don't know. You are a magical Irish leprechaun.
I am. There we go.
Sebastian.
There's a rainbow over there. You can't see it, but there's lots of magic going on around here.
Yes. You
Yeah.
are our Irish leprechaun. Look what
Guinness.
you did.
It's the Guinness.
It's the Guinness. I know.
Yeah.
I'm not drinking Guinness, but I'm the one who saw the fireworks. Oh, so funny. Okay. Anyway, Alex Hilkerts will be doing a demo on April 14th. And also I'll be interviewing New York urban sketcher and printmaker Susan Greenstein on April 16th. And so you can get your free tickets at www.studio56boutique.com. And also please subscribe to our newsletter and you will be alerted about when Sebastian's demo is available and all these free interviews and demos coming up. And so our big announcement, Sebastian.
Very exciting.
We're very excited. So there's a reason that you chose that topic as your subject for the demo today.
Yeah, it's because we will be going to Provence in the south of France in April next year.
April next year. That's right. We're very excited. We're going to be working on that very hard in the next month or so to get to finalize the details of that. And so you're all invited. Come along, all of you, all hundreds of you, come along.
Yeah.
Yes, to our vacation workshop in Provence. It's going to be fantastic. We're going to be staying in Avignon. And we'll have our first day in Avignon, and it's a Hilltop Villages tour. So every day after that, we'll be visiting a different Hilltop village in Provence, sometimes 2 in one day. We'll see Aix-en-Provence, Saint-Remy, Gordes, Minerve, Roussillon, and I might have missed one. But anyway, we're going to see it. We're going to tour in we're going to go and visit the room in the sanatorium where Van Gogh spent the last years of his life. And if it's open, we'll also go and check out Cézanne's studio where he painted. And it's going to be a fantastic workshop.
A little bit of wine tasting going on at some stage as well, I think.
I know. I'm sorry. Yes, there's
left that out.
Wine tasting. I know. That's the most important thing. Yes, there's going to be a wine tasting. We're going to tour a corkscrew museum. It's going to be a fantastic weekend. We're really looking forward to it. So subscribe to the newsletter and you will be alerted. Sebastian, thank you so much. That was wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. And it's do you know what? It was an absolute joy being able to answer these questions while painting at the same time, even though I was painting, but I wasn't. So I was doing two things at once, which I can't normally do. So it was a pleasure, and it was great to meet some familiar faces again. And yeah, no, thank you so much.
Yeah, it was wonderful. All right. Bye, everyone. Happy Easter for those of you who celebrate. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And we hope to see you soon at our next free interview or demo. Bye for now. Bye, Sebastian.
Bye.